What if I told you the secret to becoming more like Jesus isn't hidden in some ancient scroll, but laid out plain and simple right in the Beatitudes? Yeah, those short little blessings you've probably heard before but never really felt. But here's the twist. These aren't just teachings. They're a glimpse into the very heart of Jesus. And if we really get this, it could change everything about the way we live. Ever heard of a woman named Anne Catherine Emmerich? No? Well, let's change that. She was a mystic from the 1700s who claimed to have visions of Jesus' life, real vivid visions. In fact, many scenes from the Passion of the Christ were based on her descriptions. Whether you believe her or not, one thing she got right: Jesus didn't just teach rules. He revealed a mindset, a divine attitude. And that's where the Beatitudes come in. Now stay with me, because this next part hits deep. Think of the Beatitudes not as a list of religious sayings, but as a window into God's soul. Jesus didn't just preach them, he lived them. These are not gentle suggestions. They're the blueprint to real joy, lasting peace, and spiritual transformation. The Beatitudes aren't just how to be blessed. They're how to be like Christ. Blessed are the poor in spirit. Let's unpack that. Ever been broke? I'm not talking about your bank account. I mean spiritually empty, like you've got nothing left to give. That's exactly where God wants to meet us. Because when we admit our spiritual poverty, that's when grace floods in. When you stop pretending you've got it all together, God starts building something brand new in you. Picture this. You're awful at golf, but get a chance to learn from Tiger Woods. Would you brag or beg to learn? That's the difference between being rich in spirit and poor in spirit. If you already think you've got it all figured out, there's no room for God to move. But if you admit your weakness, that's when divine strength shows up. That's when transformation begins. Let's go deeper. Imagine standing before the creator of the universe, the one who made galaxies in your soul. What do we really bring to the table? Pride? Achievements? Nah. Just a heart that says, I need you. That's poverty of spirit. And that's the attitude Jesus blesses. It's not about shame, it's about dependence. Deep, honest, liberating dependence. Next up, blessed are those who mourn. Now, I used to think this was only about grieving a loved one, but it's more than that. It's about mourning sin, ours and the world's. It's about letting your heart break over what breaks God's heart. Real mourning doesn't come from judgment. It comes from love. If you can feel sorrow over evil and still respond with compassion, you're on holy ground. When my mom died, I opened the Bible in desperation. First verse I saw, blessed are those who mourn, for they will be comforted. I can't explain it, but that hit different. It was like God whispering, I see you. Later, I realized Jesus meant more than grief. He meant a deep, aching awareness of everything broken around us. And more importantly, that he's the one who can heal it. Here's a gut check. When you see suffering, injustice, or your own sin, do you mourn it? Or do you scroll past it? Jesus didn't avoid pain. He felt it all. He mourned the world's sin so deeply he sweat blood. That's not drama. That's divine grief. If we want to be like him, we can't turn numb. We need to let our love move us into mourning, and our mourning move us into mercy. Speaking of mercy, Jesus said, blessed are the merciful. Think about that. Imagine if God treated us with the same level of grace we show others. Terrifying, right? Yet that's the point. Mercy isn't weakness. It's the strongest move you can make. And showing it to someone who hurt you, that's when you know God's working in you. Real mercy always echoes divine love. I once heard a mother forgive the man who murdered her son in public with tears and grace. That wasn't human. That was God speaking through her. Mercy like that shakes the world. And if we want to be Christ-like, we've got to start choosing forgiveness over revenge, compassion over criticism. Mercy isn't just for saints. It's for all of us, right here, right now. Blessed are the meek. Let's clear something up. Meek doesn't mean weak. It means controlled strength, the kind that doesn't explode under pressure, the kind that doesn't need to fight back just to prove something. Meekness is standing calm in the storm. It's being strong enough to stay kind. It's Jesus, silent before his accusers, refusing to hate them. Next time someone offends you, picture a sensitivity meter inside you. Does it explode into anger, dive into self-pity, or does it stay steady in peace? That's meekness. It doesn't lash out. It doesn't crumble. It just endures with grace. We need more of that. We need less reaction and more holy response. Meekness is strength with gentleness. That's power. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness. Let me ask you, what do you crave most in life? Success, recognition, comfort? Jesus flips the script. He says, crave justice, crave holiness, like you're starving in a desert. That kind of hunger moves you. It keeps you up at night. It pushes you to make things right in a broken world and in your own heart. Now, righteousness can sound stuffy, but here's a better way to say it. Doing the next right thing, no matter the cost, even when it's hard, even when nobody sees it, even when it hurts, that's righteousness. And it's not based on what we think is right, but what he says is right. And the more we draw close to Jesus, the clearer that path becomes. Jesus said, I am the bread of life. Whoever comes to me will never hunger. That means our hunger for meaning, for truth, for peace, it all gets satisfied in him. If we're starving for righteousness, he's the feast. If we're thirsty for justice, he's the living water. So don't just nibble at faith. Devour it. Let it fuel everything you do. Blessed are the pure in heart. This is the one that hits me hardest, because I know how messy my heart can be. We chase so many things: status, lust, envy, control. And all that gunk clogs up the doorway to seeing God clearly. Emmerich once said, the heart is the true eye of the soul. If that's true, then a pure heart isn't just beautiful, it's how we see the divine. If we want to see God more clearly, we need to do some heart cleaning. That means letting go of distractions, forgiving deeply, breaking bad habits, and surrendering control. And no, we don't do it perfectly. But every time we invite Jesus in, really in, he starts scrubbing out all the junk. Little by little, he purifies our vision until we start seeing with his eyes. Blessed are the peacemakers, not the peacekeepers. The makers. That means we're called to step into conflict and create peace, to bring unity where there's division, to love when others hate, and that's hard. But peacemakers reflect their Father. They reflect heaven. If the enemy's mission is to tear apart, ours is to restore. That's what Jesus came to do, and he's asking us to join him. Last one, blessed are those who are persecuted for righteousness. And yeah, it's tough. If you live these Beatitudes, the world will push back. But Jesus said, they hated me first. So don't be afraid of rejection. Be afraid of compromise. The glory of heaven is far greater than the applause of people. Follow him anyway. Love anyway. Forgive anyway. Because this is what real blessing looks like.